Her stomach is in knots.
She's not doing great.
Louis takes her money away.
When I need my money laundered, I'll call you. I want it to be better.
It's not going to be better.
All right.
I don't want to talk about it.
I cannot believe that Teresa is in another marriage with financial, legal issues.
She called herself the Queen of Jersey. But behind the flashy cars, the designer bags, and the endless screaming matches was a story of lies, fraud, betrayal, and chaos.
Why did your ex-husband write that freaking book? That book is not written by just your ex-husband feel like writing a book. Obviously, something in that book has to be true.
I told you, Teresa, were you not?
From flipping tables to serving time in prison, Teresa Giudice's life has been one scandal after another.
I am paying attention. Obviously, there has to be something else. It's just not name change and arrested. There has to be something else. Oh, you're stripping? You were stripping?
Arrested.
Prostitution whore? You are f***ing engaged 19 times? You stupid bitch!
This is the dark side of Teresa Giudice, and why many believe her empire was built on scandal, not success.
You all have seen the news, and a lot of you have been commenting on the Casual Chaos Instagram, wondering if I will comment on this topic. I told you guys that I want to be real with you, and I'm commenting on it. Bethany Frankel, I hope that $1,000 TikTok paycheck was really worth it.
When The Real Housewives of New Jersey premiered in 2009, Teresa Giudice burst onto the Bravo stage like a tornado in heels. She wasn't polished. She wasn't subtle, she was loud, flashy, and unapologetically over the top. From the very beginning, her obsession with image was impossible to ignore. She flaunted designer bags, talked endlessly about money, and made it her mission to present her family as the ultimate success story. She played the role of the loyal wife and glamorous mother, but what viewers really saw was a woman desperate to outshine everyone else in the room. And then came the moment that made Teresa a household name. A dinner party gone wrong, a boiling rage, and one of the most infamous moments in Bravo history, the table flip. In seconds, Teresa went from another housewife to the face of the franchise. She wasn't just dramatic, she was explosive, unpredictable, and perfect for reality TV. Fans were hooked. Some loved her fire, others couldn't stand her temper, but nobody ignored her. She became Bravo's new crown jewel, the Queen of Jersey, the woman whose name guaranteed chaos. But behind the screaming and the sparkle, warning signs were already there. The temper that made her famous wasn't just a show for cameras. It was real. And the luxury lifestyle she flaunted wasn't built on steady ground. The world didn't know it yet. But the Queen's empire was nothing more than a house of cards. And soon, it would all come crashing down. After Teresa's explosive debut, she and her husband Joe wasted no time turning their Bravo fame into a showcase of excess. Viewers watched them move into a massive New Jersey mansion, dripping in chandeliers, marble staircases, and gold details. They paraded flashy cars, diamond jewelry, and luxury clothes, all while bragging about their so-called success. But the truth? It was all smoke and mirrors. Behind the cameras, debt was piling up, Joe's businesses were drowning, and the couple's constant overspending created a financial nightmare. While Teresa bragged about paying cash for furniture, court documents later revealed their empire was crumbling. In 2011, the bomb dropped. Teresa and Joe filed for bankruptcy. The illusion of wealth was shattered. Fans realized that much of their lifestyle had been built on credit, loans, and shady financial dealings. But instead of scaling back, Teresa doubled down. She released cookbooks, posed for magazines, and played the victim, all while the walls were closing in. Then, in 2013, the scandals reached a new level. Teresa and Joe were indicted on dozens of counts of fraud: mail fraud, wire fraud, bank fraud, and hiding assets in their bankruptcy case. Prosecutors accused them of falsifying loan applications, inflating incomes, and lying to banks in order to maintain their lavish image. For years, Teresa had called herself the Queen of Jersey, the face of luxury and loyalty. But now, the facade was gone. She wasn't just a reality star living large, she was a criminal defendant, fighting for her freedom. The very fame that gave Teresa her platform had exposed her lies to the world. And as the fraud case made headlines, Bravo fans weren't asking how fabulous she was anymore. They were asking how long it would be before the Queen of Jersey traded her designer gowns for a prison jumpsuit.
Well, Mary, Teresa Giudice is said to be safe and sound inside her $1 million home behind me after nearly a year behind bars. She and her husband both admitted to a string of crimes as part of what the federal prosecutor called a long-running financial fraud conspiracy. Well, this morning, her attorney picked her up, said he had a cup of cappuccino waiting for her as he drove her home.
The car right here was, she was extremely upbeat. She was calling home. She asked me to put on Christmas music.
Under the cover of darkness and fog early this morning, reality TV star Teresa Giudice was released from the Danbury Correctional Facility in Connecticut. Her motorcade, including SUVs with video cameras, arrived home to her Montville mansion around 7:30. "We love you" signs greeted her, along with her husband and 4 daughters inside. A reunion nearly 12 months in the making.
It was very emotional. It was a private moment, but it was very emotional, very powerful, and it was something to see.
Giudice, along with her husband Joe, pleaded guilty to bankruptcy fraud last year. The couple admitted to hiding assets from bankruptcy creditors and submitting phony loan applications to get some $5 million in mortgages and construction loans.
The real trouble for the 2 stars of the Real Housewives of New Jersey. In federal court today, facing mortgage fraud and other charges. They are known for fierce battles and legal woes, and now could be facing their biggest battle of all. ABC's Paula Ferris has that story.
Don't turn this around on me.
This morning, 2 popular reality stars are facing a different kind of reality. The possibility of a life behind bars. Table flipping, family loving.
Be a man, stick with your blood.
Teresa Giudice and her husband Joe from Bravo's Real Housewives of New Jersey were indicted Monday on federal fraud charges. If convicted, they could spend as many as 50 years in prison. According to court documents obtained by ABC News, the Giudices allegedly submitted false and fraudulent mortgage and other loan applications from 2001 to 2008. The documents also say Joe failed to submit tax returns and did not tell the truth in bankruptcy court.
Teresa's accused of reporting fake jobs and fake incomes. One of them, she said that she was an executive assistant. She went so far as to file fake W-2 forms, allegedly.
Federal prosecutors also say the 41-year-old mother, known by fans for her lavish spending habits and opulent New Jersey mansion, tried to hide the money she was earning from the Real Housewives when filing for bankruptcy in 2009.
Just because you do bankruptcy doesn't mean you have to crawl and die in a hole. Like, oh my God, I did bankruptcy, let me just die.
Bravo declined to comment on the matter. Still, the couple's past could now be endangering their future and the well-being of their 4 daughters.
The Giudice empire officially collapsed in 2014. After years of fraud, lies, and cover-ups, Teresa and Joe faced sentencing day. The courtroom was packed, the cameras were rolling, and the judge didn't hold back. Joe received 41 months in federal prison. Teresa? 15 months. The image of Teresa Giudice, once the glamorous Jersey housewife dripping in designer clothes, was replaced with the sight of her sobbing in court, begging for mercy. But mercy never came. When Teresa reported to prison, Bravo fans could hardly believe it. This was the same woman who flipped tables, bragged about paying cash for furniture, and built her brand on being untouchable. Now she was just another inmate in an orange jumpsuit. No glam squad, no heels, no designer handbags, just cold walls and cafeteria food. For months, America watched as Bravo milked her downfall for ratings. Teresa checks. Turned her prison sentence into a primetime event. Fans tuned in, some out of sympathy, others just to see the so-called Queen of Jersey reduced to scrubbing toilets and folding laundry. The backlash was brutal. Former fans called her a fraud. Critics said prison was exactly where she belonged, and while Teresa tried to paint herself as a victim, the public wasn't buying it. Meanwhile, Joe's own fate loomed darker. Rumors swirled that after prison he could be deported back to Italy. The image of the Giudices as a picture-perfect family shattered completely. Teresa Giudice, the woman who once ruled Bravo, was now a convicted felon. And the same temper that made her famous, it couldn't save her behind bars. The woman who once flipped tables was now cleaning them in prison. When Teresa walked out of prison in December 2015, she didn't step into silence. She stepped right back into the spotlight. Bravo cameras were rolling, eager to capture the comeback. Within weeks, she was filming specials, writing books, and cashing in on her prison experience. But the public was divided. Was Teresa just a victim of Joe's shady business dealings, or was she a willing partner in every scam? If you ask her, she was innocent. If you ask her critics, she was just as guilty as Joe. And then came the family feuds. Years of tension with her sister-in-law Melissa Gorga reignited. Her former friend Jacqueline Larita came back swinging, accusing Teresa of never taking accountability. Even Danielle Staub resurfaced, bringing more chaos to the group. On screen, Teresa played the victim, talking about her struggles as a single mom and her husband's prison sentence. But off-screen, she wasn't exactly living humbly. She signed lucrative book deals, gave paid interviews, and showed up at events in designer gowns. When Joe was finally released from prison, his future was grim. ICE ordered him deported back to Italy. And instead of standing by her man, Teresa began to distance herself, the loyal housewife image shattered. She chose fame and Bravo cameras over the man she once swore to support. By 2019, Teresa wasn't the beloved Bravo star anymore. She was polarizing, a woman clinging to relevance while her family life crumbled. The temper, the lies, the betrayal, it was all starting to catch up with her. The Queen of Jersey was back on TV, but her crown? It was cracked beyond repair. After divorcing Joe Giudice, Teresa wasted no time moving on. Enter Luis Ruelas, a wealthy businessman with a questionable past and a talent for raising eyebrows. At first, it seemed like a fairy tale. Teresa flaunted their romance on social media, roses, lavish vacations, over-the-top gestures. But fans weren't convinced. From the beginning, Luis came with red flags. Ex-girlfriends accused him of manipulation, reports surfaced about shady business dealings. And his bizarre behavior on camera left viewers uneasy. One reunion clip became infamous, Luis admitting he once wore his ex-girlfriend's pajamas to heal. The cast laughed nervously, but the audience wasn't laughing. They were cringing. Still, Teresa pushed forward. In 2022, she and Luis tied the knot in what can only be described as a circus-like wedding. Over-the-top decor, a giant tiara, Bravo cameras capturing every second. But the biggest headline wasn't her dress. It was who wasn't there. Her brother Joe and sister-in-law Melissa skipped the wedding, exposing the deepest family fracture yet. For years, Teresa claimed family was everything. But as fans watched her cut ties with her brother, side with Luis, and double down on drama, it became clear. She valued the spotlight more than blood. And the public? They'd had enough. Once celebrated as Bravo royalty, Teresa was now being dragged online as toxic, out of touch, and blind to red flags. Luis wasn't saving her image. He was dragging it further down. The woman who once branded herself as a loyal wife, doting mother, and family-first Jersey matriarch had become something else entirely. A woman blinded by fame, willing to trade loyalty for headlines. Teresa didn't escape the scandal after Joe. She just found another man to keep it going. She traded one toxic partner for another, and fans believe she's too far gone to ever come back. By 2023, Teresa's biggest war wasn't with castmates. It was with her own blood. Years of tension with her brother Joe and sister-in-law Melissa Gorga finally exploded into full-on chaos. What started as little digs and shady confessionals turned into screaming matches that split the family apart. Accusations flew in every direction: betrayal, lies, shady business deals, even claims of using family drama to stay relevant on TV. For Teresa, family used to be her brand. She built her storyline around loyalty, protecting her parents' legacy, and standing by her brother. But now, she was publicly tearing that legacy apart. Every reunion became another round of Giudice versus Gorga, and fans were exhausted. What once felt raw and emotional had turned into recycled drama. The same accusations, the same fights, the same refusal to take accountability. Teresa always played the victim, blaming Melissa, blaming Joe, blaming anyone but herself. And audiences finally called her out. On social media, the backlash was brutal. Former fans flooded Bravo pages calling Teresa toxic, a bully, and the real problem in Jersey. Once the queen of Bravo, she was now the villain. Even her allies on the show started keeping their distance. Behind the crown of diamonds and her endless catchphrases, Teresa wasn't seen as entertaining anymore. She was seen as poison, the kind of dark energy that dragged every scene into the mud. The woman who flipped the most iconic table in Housewives history had now flipped her own image upside down. Teresa Giudice, once the face of RHONJ, had become the villain of Bravo. By 2024, Teresa's reputation had hit rock bottom. The Bravo audience that once made her a star had turned against her completely. Fans even launched online petitions demanding she be fired from the Real Housewives of New Jersey, claiming she brought nothing but dark energy to the franchise. But Teresa refused to let go of the spotlight. Even as Luis's scandals kept surfacing, shady business lawsuits, bizarre public behavior, and whispers from ex-girlfriends, Teresa stood by his side. Instead of rebuilding her image, she doubled down, defending him at every turn and dragging her own reputation down with his. Viewers watched in disbelief as Teresa clung to a man who looked more like a liability than a partner. And with every headline, every awkward reunion clip, every bizarre claim Luis made, the Bravo audience's patience ran thinner. But Teresa wasn't giving up. She launched a podcast tour, teased Bravo spin-off rumors, and made guest appearances on reality specials. Anything to remind the world she was still here. Yet the harder she tried to hold on to her fame, the more desperate she looked. The truth was clear. Teresa Giudice was no longer Bravo royalty. She wasn't the Queen of Jersey anymore. She was the cautionary tale. The reality star who traded loyalty for fame, family for headlines, and credibility for chaos. From icon to infamy, Teresa's story had come full circle. The woman who once ruled Bravo with her temper and her table flips was now the one fans wanted gone. Teresa Giudice didn't just fall from grace. She set fire to her own crown. From flipping tables to serving time, Teresa Giudice's journey is one of the wildest reality TV downfalls ever. She built her empire on scandals, lies, and chaos. But when the lies caught up, the empire crumbled. Was Teresa the ultimate victim of her husband's crimes, or the mastermind of her own downfall? That's for you to decide. Let us know what you think in the comments below. And don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit that bell for more shocking celebrity downfalls. Because if Teresa taught us anything, it's that no reality star's crown lasts forever.